Hello and welcome to my channel. I'm Harmony. I'm so happy to be here. So today we are going to talk about past life, life between life and future life. Okay, so before we jump into it, I just want to mention that I'm offering past life regression session online and future life progression session online. If you're interested, please check out the link to my website in the description box below. Okay, so I will be doing Life Between Life as well, but that's not online because the session is quite long, between 3 to 4 hours. So I would rather do it in person. So, okay, let's move on to what past life is. So, you might have come across when you meet someone for the first time and you feel like there's an instant connection, there's something, and you can't explain why. It feels familiar, but you don't know why. Or it could be anyone, like a partner, a friend, a co-worker, or boss, or it could be anyone, or even your pet. You feel like you know that that animal, you know the soul, and it can also be a place. Like you feel you've been to that place before, or you get drawn to a place and you feel like, yeah, it's kind of deja vu. Okay, so what happens now? I'm just going to refer you to two videos that I've done previously. One is about the source, the monad, the oversoul, and all the way down, and how we get into this cycle, like we incarnate and reincarnate, so cycle of birth and death. And also the other video that I've done is about duality and Earth's 5D ascension. Is about what's going on in the planet now. So why most people are being interested in knowing about their past? Because a lot of people are waking up and understanding that there's more to this life we live in. And also as this like I talk about it in my other video, you can check them out. We are going, the earth is going into higher dimensions, so for souls to move with her at a higher dimension, more and more people are clearing their karma. So a lot of things are surfacing now, and these could be going back to the childhood, or even going back to the past life or past lives. So what happens, sometimes things happen in the past lives and they don't get resolved, and then they happen again. So it's like keep on repeating, the patterns keep on repeating, and until we clear that. Okay, so now what is taking, why is it important to know what happened in your past life? So if you want to clear karma now, or you have questions, you want to find the root cause of it, not just like go for a therapy or a healing session and it's healed, but you want to know the root cause of why it happened, why it's happening in your life, then you can go back into the past life and find those answers, especially when it's to do with some patterns or phobias or people. Okay, now what happens in a past life regression? So that therapist takes you to your past life. I mean, there are, I'll just mention this briefly, there are certain patterns and phobias that we do pick up from this lifetime, like habits, but that happens at the childhood. So it's between the age of conception to the age of 7. That's the time when we live, every single one of us, like all the children, they live in the moment, so they are not conditioned. So whatever happens in their environment has an influence on them, and they start, it could be like follow the patterns of the parents, picked up on that, or um, the society or the school, the friends, the family, whatever. Okay, so some of them could be picked up at that point, but some of them can go all the way back to past lives. So most of the cases, like people going in the past lives, they found out a lot of questions. I had my own done in 2009 back then. So what happens then when you visit a past life? So if you go to a therapist and you say what you want to find out. So say for example you want to know why you are in this situation. It could be a job situation, like there's somebody you don't get along with, but why you are in it, or it could be a relationship that you feel why you're in this relationship. And there could be more than whatever we can see, at the surface level. So you can go back, and the therapist can take you back into that specific time when that happened, or who that person means, and what happened in that lifetime. So were you supposed to clear, did you promise something to that person in the past life, and then you didn't keep that promise, and this is now haunting you? There's so many different ways of finding out, but if you do have a certain issue about someone, or a behavior pattern that you've got, or a phobia, then that's a good way of going into the past and finding out. Also, like some people are scared of drowning. Of water, like deep water. So that could be also something from the past life, where maybe they died drowning. So this is something like, but it's not scary. It's just like visiting memories. So it's like some memories that you've got of the childhood. You think about them, you can see them in your mind. That's all it is. Okay, but the therapist knows how to heal that. Okay, so when you go through it, when you see it, you're not going through it, but when you're observing it, then you know what to do, what happened. And what happens is, like, you get to see it for yourself. Okay, all the therapist does is like they can take you, and they just direct you, they just facilitate the experience. So at the end of the day, it's the individual, whoever it is, they experience it. So why is this so valid? Like, this is what happens. It's because there are so many people in the world that have been doing this work for a very long time. The time when even internet wasn't available in the olden days. So, and they still managed to regress thousands of people from all over the world, and they could all go into their past and find out the reasons, that the answers they were looking for. And some could explain, like a place, or describe, sorry, I meant to say describe a place that they've never been to in so many details that it's not even, you won't even understand how. Okay. So, or they could also speak like different languages. I mean, if you do your own research, there's a lot of books about it with a lot of case studies. If you're interested in reading those books, just type Google search. There's a lot of people who've written books like this. Michael Newton, he's written lot of books. Brian Weiss, and there's also Dolores Cannon, but she goes quite deep. Further deep, and try to know the spiritual nature and find out what is going on. Okay, so you can check them out for yourself, but briefly, this is what past life is. Okay, and there could be like and you go in your past life and you find something that you were meant to do and you didn't do it, but you still can't find the origin of why you didn't do it. Then it could lead to another previous lifetime of yours. So this is how past life helps to find who you are, and what patterns you've got in your present, so going into the past and healing that so you can have a better life now. Okay, so now let's move on to future life. So what is future life? Future life is like you can go into your next lifetime. So the past life, your present life is your past life's future life. So my future life will be my past life's, my future life's past life, if you understand what I mean. Okay, so how can future life help then? How do we know where we are going in the future? So again, this is time does not exist in the higher realms. Okay, I'll explain more about that when I talk about the life between life. Okay, so the future life, we regress you to the subconscious mind level. Like a therapist will take you to that level and take you into the future. So again, you will be experiencing it. So based on where you are now, okay, you can go into the future and see if there are certain things that you have not cleared and you have not dealt with, then you can see how it will affect in your future. So you can see yourself in the future and how that thing that you had to do now, you haven't done it, it's affecting you again, so it will repeat again. So these are the patterns, or it could be even relationship patterns that keep happening over and over again until it's been sorted until you face it. Okay, so this is how you can know more about the future. So time, like when you talk about time, it only exists in when we are here, we are living here on this the planet, like we are in the linear time. But time in the higher realms, they don't exist. So all future probabilities already exist. Okay, they all already exist. So say it's like you go to a tarot reader and you ask a tarot reader to do a reading for you and you want to make a decision and you don't know what to do, and you have two paths, which one to choose, and they lay out the path for you, like they do the reading and say, okay, if you do this, this is what happens. If you do that, this is what happens. But it's the same thing for the future life. So why is future life good? Is because one is like you get to experience it yourself. Okay, you get to go there and to see your future for yourself. And when you see that and you see, okay, this is what happens if I don't do this one, it might repeat in my future life, right? So then you know what to do, so you can come back to your present life and then you say, oh, okay, now I know what I need to do. So it's like going into the future to heal the present and make decisions based on what you see. So this is what future life progression is. It's like taking you into a future lifetime. Or there are other things you can do with future life progression, like in this lifetime itself you can go forward 5 years or 10 years or 20 years. It depends what you want to do, but it's like depends on what, if you want to know, if you choose a certain path, if you stay on the current path, what happens? If you make certain changes now, what happens? And if you don't do anything, you just want to see what the best can happen for you, you can do that as well. So jumping into the future and finding out. Okay, it's like jumping, but it's like, under the hypnosis technique, you'll be taken there to find out the answer. Okay, now this is future life. Now let's talk about life between life. So what is life between life? So from the past life, when you died, you went up, and then there was a period of time there. Then you were born again here. Then when you die from here, you go up again, and then you'll be another time period. Then you can go back. You'll be born again. Okay. So life between life is that time. Okay, it's that time when you're up there, So you are in the spirit form, and let's see what is going on there. So what life between life is like, most people who are more spiritual and they want to know their purpose, and want to know why they're in a certain relationship, what is the soul's purpose, what are they here to do, and then they get to, by going into life between life, they get to understand what's happening there. So it is like the whole story since leaving your body. Where does the soul go? Who greets the soul? And where is he taken? Where's the soul taken? And what happens to the soul then? Then there are like different station stops, okay? So I'll just briefly mention them. So when they go from this, they leave the body and go, then they get greeted by their spirit guide, and then they get taken to a place where they meet their soul groups, and then all the people who are in the soul group, they get to meet them. And how they get to meet them, because you would be saying like, oh yeah, but the soul groups, the people in the soul group are here, or on the planet. Yeah, they are, but they are also not all of them incarnate at the same time. They could have some still there, okay? And another thing is like, the soul doesn't, when we incarnate here, we don't take all of our energy, like the percentage of our souls, okay? So there's still some percentage of us up there. It depends how much percentage we want to take into this world, okay? So so this is what happens, and get to meet them, and then they get to go to a council of elders where they get to review what's going on in their life, what they've done so far. And if they have questions, they go, and they can ask questions about their other past lives, because there is like a library there they can access as well, that has got all their past lives, so they can access information from that. So if they have, so obviously if they are going now, it's like they asking the question about now. And also the spirit world, there's no time, so it's always in the now. So it is quite difficult to understand, but this is what it is. It is in the now. So whoever they're interacting with, whoever they're seeing, it's all in the now, okay? So then if they want to ask the question about why did they choose the specific body, why did they choose the place they want to live, like they want to be born, like incarnate, the geographic, and why did they choose their parents, like there's a lot of questions that they can find out. But obviously that's why it's like a very long session. It takes between 3 to 4 hours, but it's mostly about what goes on in the spirit world. Okay, once they are up there, what is happening. Okay, this was developed by Michael Newton. You can read out more about him, but he regressed a woman who had a deep sense of loss, and she wanted to know what it is. And while he regressed her, then she came to, all of a sudden, like, she started pointing at something, and she said, oh, there they are. I've been looking for them all my life. And he said to her, then he started asking questions like, who are they? And he found out that they were her soul group. And this is how he discovered, like, going life between life. And since he's regressed so many people, I mean, you can, like I said, you can find his books and read that. And there are other people who've written not stories, but case studies. Sorry, it's not stories, case studies. So it's very, like I said, it's rather difficult to understand, but at the same time, you can't have like thousands of people telling the same story of what goes on, telling the same thing of what goes on after the body leaves. The soul leaves the body. So like I said, he's got in his books, if you're interested, he talks a lot about in very much details. There's one, Journey of the Soul, Destiny of Soul, and he's done another one, Hypnotherapy, Life Between Lives. So if you're interested, you can read those. It's so interesting, it's so detailed. Okay, so this is what Life Between Life is. Now, this is in a nutshell what everything means. And if this helps you, if this resonated to some extent, that's great, that's brilliant. So you got to know what it is. And like I said, if you're interested in a future life and a past life, then you can see in my link to my website in the description box below. Oh yeah, and I wanted to talk about hypnotherapy. Okay, so what is hypnotherapy? It's just using hypnosis. Hypnotherapy is using hypnosis as a therapeutic technique. So what is it done? It's not like when people hear about hypnosis, they think it's kind of mind control or something, but it's not. Okay, we are in a state of hypnosis almost any time of the day. It's like, I'll give you an example. If you're driving a car, you can go from A to B and you don't know how you got there. Okay, you changed the gears, turned the wheel, the indicators and all of that. Everything happens like automatic. You don't even know how you got there. So you've been like in this state of light hypnosis, okay? And then you go to the, it's also like when you watch a movie, you're so concentrated in that movie that you don't know how time passed, or even you're reading a book. So it's all like, the hypnosis is like an altered state of natural, of the mind. Okay, it's a natural state. So there are 4 types of hypnosis state. Okay, there is the beta. Beta is like when we are in our normal consciousness. So whatever we are conscious, whatever we are doing is the thinking. It stores all the thinking and temporary memories and all of that. So this is, it's like analyze things when you see it. It's like when we are wide awake and doing things like that. So this is the beta. Then we have alpha. Alpha state is where it's a light relaxation state. So most of the hypnotherapists therapists who use alpha, they use it for the for therapies like stop smoking or weight loss or stress relief, and so all of that. Then you've got the next state, which is the theta. This is quite deep, so it takes you to a deeper level. Okay, so deeper level of so what happens in the theta state is like our brain has got 2 sides. There is a left side and a right side of the brain. So the left side is more like structure, okay, and it's the analytical side of the brain, and the right side is more about the intuitive side. So when we take somebody into the theta state, what happens there is like the left side of the brain, that is the analytical side, gets switched off. Okay, so then it's the subconscious mind takes over. Okay, so what is the subconscious mind? Now, to understand that, we need to know what the conscious mind is. Conscious mind is what we are doing daily, okay, what we know, what's happening. So we know we are conscious what is going on. But the subconscious is everything that happens, that we experience through our senses. So everything that we experience in the physical through our 5 senses, that gets stored into the subconscious. So the subconscious is like a computer storage system. Okay, so everything gets stored there. So across all our lifetimes, all these experiences are stored in the subconscious. Okay, so when somebody wants to go through, wants to do a past life or a future life, this is the state we take them to. So it's called the theta state. Okay, so the conscious mind is switched off, so the subconscious takes over, and all the questions are directed to the subconscious, because that's where all the memories, the long-term memories, are stored. Okay, so this is theta state. Then we've got the delta state. The delta state is almost like being asleep. Okay, so delta state, is a state of hypnosis where we take somebody to do the life between life. Okay, so in that state, there is no the answers that are asked, like we bring the super conscious mind. Okay, so it's not the conscious or the subconscious, but the super conscious. Okay, the super conscious mind is like whatever is in the soul. Okay, so it's like the memories of the soul. Okay, so at that level, so it's not like the subconscious is like the physical, what we've whatever experience we've gone through, our physical, through our physical senses. Okay, but the subconscious is, sorry, the superconscious is, we switch off that one as well and go to the soul level. So whatever has been the memories that are stored at the soul level, so that's why we get to know what happens in the spirit world. So because we are in that state. Okay, so the soul has got the answers. Okay, but one thing I would like to mention is like the life between life is very interesting, and we do get to connect with the soul, but it's also very like I said, quite deep. So it depends on people who want to access that, that state. Okay, so yeah, so in a nutshell, this is what it is. These are the four stages of hypnosis. So when a client, somebody takes, when a therapist takes a client or an individual into past life regression or future life progression, it's done in a way that they first have to relax. Okay, they relax them to very bring them to that very relaxing state before taking them further into their past life or their future life. So like I said, it's very safe. It's just a feeling of relaxation. This is how it works, because you can't get stuck anywhere. There's a therapist talking to you, and you are listening, and and you wake up and you come back with all the memories. Like if you have like good memories, you can, it's not only like you can go for whatever you know things that you want to clear, but you can come back with really happy memories. We can look into happy memories as well. It depends on what you want, or what the individual wants, like what you want to find out. So this is what it is all about, and you can come back with these memories and be really happy. Like it gives you this boost up your energy and everything. So this is what it all is. So now that you know what is past life, future life, and life between life, I hope this helps you, and I hope you got something out of it. And thank you for watching. Like I said again, I know I've said it a couple of times, but before I end the video, the link to my website is in the description box below. So take care, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.